Dear friends and viewers, welcome back to KNS Biochemistry channel. Namaste, Vanakkam. In this video session, we are going to see about one of the area of proteomics. It is nothing but protein folds, the folding of the protein structure. How is it happening? What is the importance of this folding of the proteins? Let us see the session now. And see that protein folding is a very important area of importance. See that is having more importance in the activity or functioning of a protein, and a lot of research is going on under protein folds. So we are going to say about that now. So what is this protein folding? What do you mean by this protein folding? It is something useful one, or something important one, or it is something not at all important one? So what is the significance of this protein folding? Why protein is having such kind of folding? For all these questions, so that we are going to see the answer. So what is protein folding? This protein folding is the physical process. That is nothing but a physical process where a change of the protein structure happens. That is why it is called a physical process, by which a protein chain acquires its native three-dimensional structure. So a protein is going to get a 3D view, 3D structure because of this protein folding process only. It is a physical process. So because of this physical process, they are going to get a native three-dimensional structure. That is a conformation that is usually biologically done, and this conformational change makes a protein functional in an expeditious and reproducible manner. So it is the physical process by which a polypeptide folds into its characteristic and functional three-dimensional structure, or characteristic functional 3D structure. So the protein is going to get finally a 3D structure only after this protein folding process. So this three-dimensional structure is formed from a random coil. That is, once a protein undergoes protein folding, it will be converted into a proper three-dimensional structure from a random unordered structure of a protein, the amino acid sequences. So from a random coil, you are going to get a properly aligned 3D structure of a protein. So each protein exists as an unfolded polypeptide or random coil when it is translated in the endoplasmic reticulum, that is especially rough endoplasmic reticulum. So when it is translated from a sequence of mRNA, messenger RNA, in ribosomes to a linear chain of amino acid sequences. So that amino acid sequences is called random coil. Then after that, it is going to be oriented into a proper 3D structure. Then only you are getting 3D structure of a protein. So that process is called protein folding process. So this polypeptide lacks any stable, that is long lasting, three-dimensional structure. At the left hand side of the figure, that is next figure, you are going to see that one. So see the three-dimensional structure of that protein polypeptide, okay, that it is lacking any stability, but it will be converted into 3D structure. So as the polypeptide chain is being synthesized through ribosomes in rough endoplasmic reticulum, you see that three-dimensional structure will not be formed there. Only polypeptide is formed there in ribosome. After that only, that random coil will be converted into proper 3D structure. So the linear chain which is formed by ribosomes begins to fold into its three-dimensional structure. So that folding happens there. So that folding begins to occur even during translation of the polypeptide chain. So amino acids interact with each other to produce a well-defined three-dimensional structure that is called as folded protein. A well-defined 3D structure is formed after proper folding of the protein. So that is called a folded protein. So that folded protein is known as the native protein or native state of the protein. That is the natural state of the protein. So this three-dimensional structure is the correct three-dimensional structure of the protein that is essential to function. So only that structure of the protein will have proper function. Although some parts of the functional proteins may remain unfolded. So sometimes some part of the protein may not be folded properly, but other portions may be folded properly. So those regions are functionally important. So that protein dynamics is important here. So that is what you are going to see in this protein folds in this topic. So failure to fold into native structure generally produces inactive proteins. If your protein is not properly folded, then you won't get a native protein which will not be having any function at all. So now it is called as inactive protein. So but in some instances, misfolded proteins, they may have been modified or they are having toxic functionality. So several neurodegenerative and other related diseases are believed to result from the accumulation of amyloid fibrils formed by misfolded proteins. Sometimes in the process of folding, the folding process of the protein, misfolding may happen. That is the wrong way it is folded. That's called misfolding. So because of that folding, protein will function, but it will give some abnormal conditions, some diseases. It's not normal functioning of the protein, it is abnormal functioning of the protein that leads to several new neurodegenerative and other diseases. So at that time you will get amyloid fibrils. They are nothing but misfolded proteins. So many allergies, allergic reactions, some people are getting allergic reactions, hypersensitivity reactions. So these many allergies are caused by these kind of misfolded protein or incorrect folding of the proteins. So because the immune system does not produce antibodies for certain these type of misfolded protein structures. Denaturation, that is another process of proteins. You know what is denaturation of the protein. When the protein loses its native structure, it is called denaturation of the protein. So denaturation of proteins is a process of transition from the folded position to the unfolded position of the protein. It happens in cooking. Suppose you are taking a protein and you are going to cook it, you are going to heat it, that folded protein will be unfolded. So that is called a denaturation. It happens during cooking or heating or in burns or in proteinopathies, that is protein disorders, and in other situations or contexts. So the duration of the folding process varies. Duration means time duration. It varies dramatically depending on the protein of interest. So the protein folding process takes place in the cell, and the time duration, it varies from protein to protein. So when studied outside the cell, the slowest folding proteins require many minutes or many hours to fold, primarily due to proline isomerization process. Proline is an amino acid. So for isomerization of the proline, it will take long time. So that is why outside the cell, for protein folding, it takes more time. And it must pass through a number of intermediate states. That is, in this process, a lot of intermediates are formed, like checkpoints. Before the process is completed, you will have several checkpoints. On the other hand, very small single domain proteins with lengths of up to 100 amino acids, that is small peptides, up to 100 amino acids, typically they are going to fold in a single step. They don't need much intermediates or much and more number of steps and more time duration, because they are small peptides. So within a single step, they will be converted. They will be folded very easily. So time scales of milliseconds are the normal timing for these kind of peptides. It's a norm. Milliseconds is enough. And the very fastest known protein folding reactions are complete within a few microseconds. Not a second, even microseconds is enough. Less than a second is enough. They will be converted, folded into a properly functioning protein. That is happening only for small peptides, not for bigger. Process of protein folding. What is this protein folding? Already I have told you. Some conformational change happens in the protein, that is called protein folding, and it happens after post-translational modification of the protein in the cell. And what is the process which is happening during this protein folding? That is process of protein folding. So the process of protein folding starts from the first structure which is formed during the protein synthesis, that is the primary structure of the protein. So the primary structure of a protein is nothing but it is a amino acid sequence. It is a linear amino acid sequence of a peptide. That is called a primary structure of a protein. And this primary structure determines its native conformation. The specific amino acid residues and their position in the polypeptide chain are the determining factors for which portions of the protein fold closely together and it form its own 3D structure, three-dimensional conformational structure. So for every 3D structure which is formed for a protein structure, the basic is primary structure. Primary structure is the very basic structure. From that only further folding happens. So the amino acid composition is not as important as the sequence. The essential fact of a protein folding process is, however, it remains that the amino acid sequences of each protein contains the information that specifies both the native structure and the pathway to attain that state. So here you see that nearly all the identical amino acid sequences present in the primary structure always fold similarly. So conformations differ based on environmental factors as well. Similar proteins fold differently based on where they are found. This is the secondary structure of the protein, and this secondary structure is formed from the primary structure of the protein. Here this picture shows you the alpha helix spiral formation, and this is the next one is an anti-parallel beta pleated sheet displaying hydrogen bonding with the backbone. So here you see that both are running, both the strands are running opposite. That is called anti-parallel running. So the formation of a secondary structure is the first step in the folding process. So in the protein folding process, first step is secondary structure formation only. That a protein takes to assume its native structure. So characteristics of secondary structure are the structures known as alpha helixes, this one first picture, and beta sheets second picture. So that fold rapidly because they are stabilized by intramolecular hydrogen bonds. So these intramolecular hydrogen bonds are forming this alpha helix and beta pleated sheets. So this was first studied and characterized by Linus Pauling. So the formation of intramolecular hydrogen bonds provides another important contribution to protein stability, the structure stability. So alpha helixes are formed by hydrogen bonding of the backbone to form a spiral shape like this, spiral shape. The beta pleated sheet is a structure that forms with the backbone like this. backbone bending over itself to form the hydrogen bond. Here you can see that hydrogen bond formation here. The hydrogen bonds are between the amide hydrogen and the carbonyl oxygen of the peptide bond. So there exist anti-parallel beta pleated sheets and parallel beta pleated sheets. Two types of arrangements where the stability of the hydrogen bonds is stronger in the anti-parallel beta sheet, as it is having hydrogen bonds with the ideal the degree of 180 degree. So that is why in anti-parallel sheet hydrogen bonds are very strong. Then coming to the tertiary structure of a protein. So these alpha helices and beta pleated sheets can be sometimes amphipathic in nature. Amphipathic, that means they have got that is outer groups which is having charges. So they are amphipathic in nature. So or they may contain a hydrophilic portion and a hydrophobic portion. That is, both the hydrophilic and hydrophobics are opposite charges, so that both are present in a molecule. That is called amphipathic nature. So this property of secondary structures aids in the tertiary structure formation of a protein, in which the folding process, the protein folding process occurs, so that the hydrophilic sides of a protein are facing the aqueous environment surrounding the protein, and the hydrophobic sides, that is non-water living, that is water living portions. So these hydrophobic sides are facing the hydrophobic core of the proteins. So this secondary structure hierarchically gives way to tertiary structure formation. So once the protein's tertiary structure is formed and stabilized by these hydrophobic interactions, so there may also be covalent bonding formation in the form of disulfide bridges formed between two cysteine residues of these amino acid side chains. And tertiary structure of a protein involves a single polypeptide chain. As a single polypeptide chain it is formed. However, additional interactions of folded polypeptide chains give rise to next level of protein structure, that is called quaternary structure formation. Friends, in this session we have seen about the protein structure, primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of the protein, and we have seen the process of protein folding, the mechanism or the process by which protein folding happens. Then we have seen the importance of protein folds, especially in the formation of three-dimensional 3D structure of the protein. Hope you have understood the topic. So during this COVID-19 situation, we are all in a position to wear the mask. Without mask, no one should go outside. When you are wearing the mask, you have to cover the entire nose area up to the mouth area, and that will be a safety measure to everyone. Hope you will follow that. I'll be coming back to you in another session. Until then, it is bye from KNS Biochemistry. Thank you very much. Namaste.